Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u software educational Zoom call. And this is strictly for entertainment purposes. It's a demonstration of the SRC4u software. You'll look for this banner for the Zoom. If you'd like to be part of the client list as she's demonstrating the software, you can click here and join. There is a monthly fee. We're going to click here. We're going to go over to the Zoom platform where we will allow, and it should be in progress. Join with audio. And we are live.
Let's get started here. Was very, very happy to get to talk with Grandmaster for about 30 minutes yesterday. And I asked him about this vaccination-related stress, and he said he's got the software programmed to work with that. And there's a couple different things. One I learned from him, and then I learned another from Kevin this morning. But what you can do, if put the name in of whoever has given you permission, or yourself, in reference to that vaccination. And what Grandmaster said. Let's get this optimized first. Well, we like that one, don't we?
Yeah.
That. And then just simply put in, he said you're going to need to run this for about 3 days. COVID-19 vaccine correction. And there you go.
Oh, okay.
And, so that was wonderful. But then also I talked with Kevin this morning, and Kevin now has the the contract commands. And again, I don't know how much time we need to devote to that, but we have it. But we also have a save session. But the majority of my work is still on my other computer because I don't want to be showing personal things. All right. And so I didn't realize we have removal of stress from the COVID vaccine. So we have that saved session in here. So again, you can just add whoever you want to add. We'll put client group and just get it started.
Well, you want to optimize.
No, I didn't optimize. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Then yesterday, I was reading that book by Mercola. The name of it escapes me now, but it's relatively new. And I ended up making, which often is the case, a protocol from it. Not a protocol, a cocktail, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But here are some of the things that he said in the book. The first thing, I tested this out for truth. And it was interesting. It came in about 10% true. He said government, technocrats, billionaire oligarchs, big pharma, big data, they like catastrophes because that makes them more money and gives them more power. And so I just tested the truth of that, and it was about 10%. And I thought, well, again, in my own personal opinion, the majority of mankind has love in their heart. They may not always access it, but it's there. And so it could be that we have a very small percent of human beings that this pertains to, but I just wanted to share that. take that out now. And then also this public care. Some of this stuff I wrote down because if I play with it over time, I find a code. It seems like the healing grab-a-boy people look at these, and if they feel like making a code for something, they do, but render ineffective the use of crisis to inflame public terror. We know what happens to our voltage and our aura when we're in fear. Another thing he said, I did not know this term, iotrophy, or however you say it. Anybody know how to say this? Anyway,
I have no clue.
I was not familiar with this term. This is government by physicians. And he said it's a little known term, but history has shown it to be catastrophic. It says the medical profession has not proven itself an energetic defender of democratic institutions or civil rights. Virtually every doctor in Germany supported Hitler, and they did these projects to work on what they considered to be mental defectives, homosexuals, handicapped citizens, and Jews. I know gypsies was added in there. So many hundreds of German physicians participated in Hitler's worst atrocities, including managing mass murder and unspeakable experiments at the death camps, that the Allies had to stage separate medical trials. Did any of you know that?
No.
I know a lot of them were bribed to do it. They would capture their families and stuff like that. So.
Yep, it says not a single prominent German doctor or medical association raised their voice in opposition to these projects. And so I was really surprised at that. And this morning I found a code to prevent, which we can add for those of us who are interested. And then here was another one. Let me get down here. We don't have a code for this yet. Americans now recognize and prevent the attempted destruction of their democracy, which Mercola sees. I think Mercola, he has been banned pretty much from so many ways to speak out that I think he's a little angry, would you say? And then he mentions Americans pay the highest prices for drugs and have the worst. I believe that. Yep, worst health outcomes among the civilized nations. Now this one I found a code for this morning, and I'm going to show you in a minute how we're working on that. But the American people now in their sole reliance on pharmaceutical products. I want to give thanks for the wonderful things we have had presented just through pharmacy. But even some of your more, what's the word I want to use, effective doctors are saying they're combining energy with their work. They're doing their mainstream, they're doing energy, and they're also doing visualization with their patients.
Yeah.
Then I went ahead and put reveal and defeat the attempted whatever. But again, that's me. You don't have to put that in there, and there was no code for it. I like this one. The only reason they have power is because they have a microphone. And then here's a few more codes we're looking for. Block those who incite public terror. Dismantle the weaponization of fear. Reveal the truth about the gaslighting of the American people. Now, this facial muscles was interesting because that's said and I put in here appropriate use of all 42 facial muscles, which we do not have when we're wearing a mask. Self-rule in place of submission to dictators. Again, use your own terminology. Now, this was an interesting one. Cite scientific studies to justify mandates for mass lockdowns and vaccines. This was an interesting one, and this morning there was a code. Stop the collaboration of government health officials with the mainstream and social media. That is the true definition of fascism is government and corporate working together. That's your true definition. Question, trust the experts, dogma. Actually, we should question everything. Question what we learn in every direction. Forbid multinational corporations from controlling our lives. Freedom to criticize pharmaceutical products. End the restrictions put in place under the guise of protecting public health. And I put a few things in here about human sovereignty. I said, it's your free will choice. Do what you want to do. It's your sovereignty. But if somebody's forcing you, you don't have sovereignty. Does that make sense?
Right.
Right.
And he talks
Right.
about junk foods, and I did some clearing last night on this, but probably out of everything, we're going to have to let that stuff go. It's cheaper. It fills us up. A lot of the people eating this stuff would be our children and the poor, but we know that it completely brings our voltage down. This was one. Move away from the industrialized, degenerative food and farming systems that sets up people for premature death and hospitalization. Guess he could tell us how he really feels. Direct government funds to healthy, organic food for everyone and away from subsidizing junk foods. Working together, we focus on healing and regenerating planetary health. And then actually, this was my favorite thing that he said in the entire book, is we're creating a portal to a better world. You know, natural law states that there has to be a positive and there has to be a solution. And so I did a little playing around, and as a result, we're still running from yesterday. I added a little bit to the cocktail we had in place, and I saved it. I think I called it a new portal or something like that. I'll have to look. But anyway, I went ahead and left what we had. So there was this, we had some clearing cocktails. Armor of God. This was from yesterday already. This is in reference to hyperacidity of the stomach, which we had wanted. Chinese acupuncture for the stomach. And again, with our diet being such a factor, abdominal sorrow point. So these things we already had in. Victimhood was in there because that has a real, they say, real tie to the gut and the gut stress. The family and the dark energy alignment with higher self will activate all chakras. Stress related to virus, to suffering, self-reproach, mindless. This was all from yesterday. So then here was, this was Dr. Kersey. I went in and added that because we had wanted that. So it ended up in this new cocktail as well. And let me just show you quickly. Let's do this again. I've been doing it every day. This is unsure of self. We want to remove that from our timeline. It may have done its time. Let's see where we are now. Okay, so let's just let that go. And then also over here. Now, yesterday we were a little bit lower on the pro. But this is internal healing capabilities. So taking that out and putting it back in, which activates our tabs here. And we're wanting to clear outside non-beneficial influences. So we'll come back to that. But anyway, so and this is quite a scam. All right. Now this is a good one. We were asking about shedding here, and actually douse that down. I'm still not right to where. Okay. All right. So this is where I started by adding some nutritional information, because they're saying that if you're going to get the vaccine or, just working in general for your health, these are some of the things, which I think you're going to be aware of: but vitamin K2, D3, C, zinc. And it's interesting. I played around a little bit with that too. And I put some of these things in. But then I asked the benefit of preparing for COVID cocktail is just a 7%. So I'm going to keep playing with that a little bit. There are certain essential oils, for example, that are antiviral. And it looks like you prepare for the vaccine the same way you would, keep yourself healthy anyway. Do not take, they're saying in reference to getting the vaccine, don't be taking any over-the-counter drugs, don't be drinking the night before. Here's where we got started. Block spike proteins from binding to cell receptors. There is a code. Herd immunity. Now, one of the things we know the vaccine does is that really wants to shut that down. Question authority. Maintain freedom of speech. Reveal government crime to the public, if there is such a thing. Creative thinking. Free flow of information and self-expression. No more media sock puppets. Take that out if you don't like it, but I liked it. Prevent this word I can't pronounce. Civil rights. Open discussion on key public health and civil rights questions. That's been a little dampened. Freedom to criticize pharmaceutical products. End the mining and monetization of our data. Safeguard food supplies. End the control of unscrupulous companies over news and television outlets. I do have personal friends who worked for the media and lost their jobs because they would not report certain things that they knew were not true. I've seen it. Protect the vitality of our economy, public health, personal freedoms, and constitutional rights. Resolve the COVID-19 crisis. I love that one. All triggers that intensify pre-existing chronic diseases are now shut down. End public polarization and conflict. Defeat the global coup. Whether or not there is one, there's a code for it. Prevent digital dictatorship. Heal the fear, helplessness, division, and confusion encompassing the world. I love this one. Portal to a better world. Qualitatively improve public, I think I left the word health out. Oh, there we go. And it came in part. Qualitatively improve public health and planetary health and regenerate the global grassroots. Global awakening. Preserve consumer choice, health freedom, regenerative food, farming, natural health, and participatory democracy. Vaporize the weaponization of viruses. That's supposed to already be illegal, but there are labs that are working with this and they're getting tax dollars. Send the arsenal of frankenviruses and microorganisms into a different portal. What the heck? I looked and there was a code. This is one of the, supposedly in Mercola's book, this is another something you can do with in reference to the.
What is that?
I don't know. I'll tell you, by the time I got to the middle of the book, my eyes were glazed over. So we might want to, on our own, look at that a little bit more.
What is that? I don't know.
It's something for to help with virus. Now, this was an interesting one. And again, there was a code. Expose and remove from power pharma-funded politicians. I got exposed in there twice. BioWare for gene engineers and lab technicians. Because that's supposed to be illegal, by the way. Our world now puts public health ahead of corporate profits. Move away from the industrialized, degenerative food and farming system that sets up people for premature death and hospitalization. And again, we might be talking about a 10%. We're not talking about the overall human nature, in my opinion. Cure chronic disease, which can happen. Working together, we focus on healing and regenerating planetary health. And then, then I went ahead and wipe out negative energy. Command, transform negative interconnections. Love between all members of planet Earth. And then we have a few new things here we could add. We can if we like, make this cocktail like a stock pot. So we've got the omega information, mitochondria, obviously, we'd like to have stress managed. The American people now send their love, stop the collaboration, move away from the industrial. I can't read all of it. Let's just add it and go in here. And what I was doing was playing with this to get a little higher resonance on the cocktail, and these are the things that did it. So these are some new codes, and we can, this can all be saved. We can update this cocktail. Meanwhile, in fact, let's just do it now. Stop. I think it is. It's this one right here, opening a portal to a better world. Okay.
Do we already have that one?
No, that one just comes from last night, so we'll see if Kevin wants it. It's a pretty extreme, and otherwise I can just email, the codes to those who want to work with them. But to me, that's the main emphasis. We are blessed with being able to work together, and we've got tools, and this might be the time, especially, it looks like more than anything in reference to food, that we are going to have to get away from the processed stuff. It also looks like, in reference to this, the intermittent fasting, I guess because it gives us the 16 or so hours to detox every day. And also the keto stuff, again, getting away from the processed carbs is a benefit. Let's see how we want to incorporate any of this. Look at that. We got it all in the premium.
Wow.
Nice.
So, let's see what we came up
What?
with.
How many times?
What's that?
How many times did it say to repeat it?
Just
One.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah,
Oh,
now look here. We see, again, remember from yesterday, it seems if you do this mediator and you go down from a 10 to a 1, our biggest conflicts seem to be right at the 5 and the 6. So you see here again at a 6, we're still not resonating with our own internal healing capability. And again, maybe that goes back to the unsure of self. We do not realize. It's just like cure chronic disease and other things of that nature. We maybe don't realize what can really be done. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Any thoughts on all this?
Thank you for the incredible amount of work you put into it.
Yeah, mind
Well, I love to do it. We all have our thing. Yeah. We all have our thing.
Yeah.
This is my thing. And I just love
we love your thing.
Thank you. And is Kevin, are you there? I know I did see him. If we can maybe hook up and he can, if he wants to copy this. Here. Can we talk briefly and will you download this new portal?
Sure, glad to.
Awesome, and then we'll all have it. So I guess that's it for today.
A lot.
Well, you know what? It is a lot, but we're capable of it. And especially, probably the biggest thing for me is just I continue to want to get organized and say, I've got it with the group, but as far as getting in and using these save sessions more, there wouldn't be any reason we couldn't pop up and do save sessions as long as we don't interfere with anyone else's sovereignty. We have people who've given us permission. We have situations that we're a part of, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Okay.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Thank you guys. I guess
Thanks,
I have an
Cathy.
extra day in the week too, so
That's right.
So take care.
Enjoy your first Thursday.
Yeah, I'll send that.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kathy.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call on the demonstration of the SRC4u software. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.